Okay, so I don't have a plan today. I've got a little bit of an idea of what I want to talk about, but let's just see where this goes because I just felt the urge today to come on. I wanted to just sort of tackle the idea about where we access our validation from. Social media, as we know, is a breeding ground for triggering, especially when it comes to our self-esteem and getting external validation from the masses, from our communities that we've built, which is a glorious thing. But what happens is when we're not aware of it, we can use that as a source to validate ourselves instead of really getting that contentment from within, getting that validation from within. It doesn't help, of course, that with let's just say with Instagram, with the like feature, it does actually trigger a dopamine, a chemical within our brain, like a drug. So, and if we're not in control of that, or we're not self-aware enough to kind of know about that, we tend to rely on that rather than gain self-validation and our own self-esteem through our own means, from ourselves, like from within, instead of reaching constantly from outside saying, I must be good, I must be okay because XYZ said it was okay, and oh, I got a sale, so that means I am validated. This can be a trap. It can be a trap because, of course, a sale is good. Of course, someone liking your art is good, right? That's a lovely thing. But when we're using that to prop ourselves up, to make ourselves feel valid and seen and accepted in the world, that's where things can get really tricky and problematic, because it does create a breeding ground for breakdowns, for depression, for losing sight of who you are, for not having ideas come naturally and freely to you, because you're constantly reaching out for what everyone else considers as good, as acceptable, as valid for the community at large. So when we do that, we really lose touch of who we are. And I've explained a lot of that about this in previous videos, and I've covered this ground before, but I do think it is important to keep harping on about, because when we do that, we lose sight of ourselves and why we're doing it in the first place. So how do we circumvent this? How do we try and flip the switch, so to speak? The first thing is about being self-aware. So the first thing is about understanding when you do get a sale, or when you do get that lots of likes and you're like, oh, I feel really good, just be really aware of that. And be aware of if there is that, if it does feed you, yeah, of course it's got to feel nice, but if it feeds you in that sort of that way, like, oh, I feel better now because of this, if it feeds you in that unnatural way, and it feeds your sense of self and your self-esteem, then that's when it's going to be detrimental in the end, because at the end of the day, it's not fulfilling us in that sense of that natural sense where we fill our own cup. We are the ones that say that our work's good enough, and that's actually where the beauty is. Your own natural self-esteem comes from that knowingness that you accept yourself regardless of any external validation, right? You get to decide you're good enough. You get to decide that you're valid and whole just as you are, or what you're producing. You get to decide that. So first things first is you just need to kind of understand where that is coming from, and when those feelings do come up, when you're being fed a lot by those forces, external means, that you do become quite aware of that. Well, that's kind of the first way of sort of understanding, okay, that is triggering me in a, of course it's positive, but it's also potentially, how would I say, unnatural. No, it's like, it's almost a bit artificial, like, you know, like that external force propping you up. It's kind of like a puppet, like someone else is like puppeteering how you feel, like, oh, I feel good now, that props me up. Whereas you don't need, you just cut those strings, like you prop yourself up, you know what I mean? So that means that when you do have those down days, or you don't make that sale, or you don't have that external validation, you're still whole, you're still up, you're still propped up, right? So you don't have that real low when you don't make that competition, or you don't, if someone says your work's ugly or shit or whatever, you're gonna be like, oh well, not for him or not for her. You still prop yourself up. Do you see what I'm saying? So you gotta cut those strings. The first way of, like I said, is kind of just realizing that you're over you're wanting that external validation too much to feel valid, right? The next step is really to get into your process and understand that your opinion of your art is supreme. So that will come in the process of creating art. So I've been through this in other videos before. If anyone's interested, my video about finding your authenticity is only on my YouTube channel. It's too long for this, for Instagram, so please check that out. But yeah, we want to, while we're practicing art, be very consciously aware of what comes into our brain. If we're thinking, oh, I don't like, what does the commercial art want? What does the commercial world want? Are they going to find this good? Am I really good enough? Am I, like, all of those external things, like, are people going to like this? That sort of stuff's got to go, and you've got to keep reminding yourself what you like, what feeds you. So that is the way you get self-esteem. Your self-esteem is you validating you. So it's quite simple, but it is a switch. And I don't want anyone to get down about this, like, we are programmed. I always talk about programming, but it's true. We are programmed from very young to always ask mummy and daddy and teacher, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And we don't often, as adults, as the parent or as the teacher, say, well, I know what I think about it. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about your own work? What's your favorite color about this? What's your favorite part about this? But that way you speak to a child is the way you are going to train yourself how to build your own self-esteem, how to build your own self-validation within you. You're going to ask yourself questions. That's it. It's about self-inquiry, and it's about finding out what you want, because what you want and what you like reigns supreme. That's how you're going to find your authenticity. That's how you're going to find your true self. What's going to build you up? What's going to prop you up? What's going to cut those strings from John down the street? Who gives a fuck what he thinks, or what they think, or what the community thinks, or any of that shit? It's completely irrelevant. So building your own self-esteem is key. Okay, Instagram is a perfect testing ground. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of people go through breakdowns, through it can trigger the most secure person. Like it still triggers me to this day. I still have to catch myself. all of this stuff, everything I talk about is a practice, okay? I'm not a master or some kind of genius, person. I'm still working on myself every single day. Every single day is a practice in self-love, in my creation process, in everything, okay? In my self-worth, in my everything. Everything is a practice, okay? You drop the ball sometimes, it's okay, we're human. You pick it up again and you start again. That's how it works. So try not to be too hard on yourself when those thoughts do come up. It's all about shifting, being aware, shifting the thoughts back to, what do I like? And that self, that's got to build. The best thing is about being self-content, like that feeling of like, yeah, I'm feeling good, and that's really, it's got a lot to do with mental health. It's got a lot to do with, like, if you can train the brain just to flick that switch just to your own sense of what you like and what you want, you got something going, okay? This is a life-changing thing. Changing your thoughts, it changes your belief system about yourself, and all of a sudden you get to prop yourself up. When you have those down days, they won't be as bad. So I hope you guys got something out of this. Really just had a urge to come and speak. I've had a lot of health stuff going on the last the last 6 weeks, I would say, and I've just now going up again. Breakdowns and physical breakdowns can be tough, but I've never had a breakdown on any level that hasn't been worth it. There's always been something to gain from it. There's always a breakthrough to be had. So when you do have those down days, understand that there's something else going on. There's something for you to see. There's something for you to heal. Thank you guys. Hope you guys gain something from this. I have a YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, I have an Instagram channel. It'll be in the description or in my bio or whatever. If you did gain something from this, I'd love you to share this stuff. And until the next time we meet again, do whatever you need to do to get back to you. And I love you. Bye.